Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. That's right, it's time for Victor Allen's new Sportz. Hot, neo-urban, written and directed by our own talented, bald-headed black man, the man the ladies have nicknamed Sexual Chocolate. Here he is, gifted sports analyst. Ladies and gentlemen, Victor Allen! Yeah!
I am not a sports analyst. All right, I'm changing that right offhand.
Can we get to redefine that term?
I don't even want to use the word analyst.
Okay.
You know what that means? That means
what if you say
numbers.
analyst?
I am a fan reporter. That's what I am.
Oh, okay.
I'm a fan
He's
reporter.
He's a fan reporter.
That means a whole bunch of fans like to report.
PMC, you heard him. He's a fan. He's a fan reporter.
That's it. I'm just a fan reporting what it's the eye test. That's all I belong to is my eyes. And my eyes say, you think I'm going to talk about the Monday Night Football game first? You're wrong. Because it's so bad, it needed to take a back seat to something else. I have to go over to something here because a lot of us may or may not follow, but you know, you either talk Heisman or BCS. And since BCS comes way later, and they got this terrible thing called, let's take a break for the whole month of December before we go and play all these BCS games, they're going to determine the Heisman. And every time we start off at the beginning of the year, there's always the favorite. And Johnny Manziel was like the clear favorite.
Oh, yeah.
He was clear. But, like I said, I don't get into the numbers and everything. There are some other notables that have stepped up to the game. And now the trend tends to favor who has the hot game right now. So we're going to try to say, if we had to put our money on the bet of who we think will come out of this, let's put our money where our mouth is. But before we do, let's look at the particulars here. For example, you have A.J. McCarron from Alabama. He's not going to get it because the team keeps winning championships. So it's like the Phil Jackson of the Lakers back in the day. We're not going to give you Coach of the Year, but you can have the NBA championship. Then you go over to Mark Mariota, who I believe, because he's over on the West Coast and he has thrown no interceptions.
Wow.
Zero. His QB rating is #1.
Wow.
And he runs the ball and is even faster and he's taller. But he's not Johnny Manziel. He's not crazy. He doesn't have all that what they call I command the total offense, where Oregon has a system. You also have Jadeveon Clowney, who they figured out how to put him back a step or two. You put 3 men on him. So they eliminated him probably already. And because of the other conditions that dealt with sometimes his partial injury here and there, he's probably not going to get in the mix unless he has this big turnaround. And then you got Braxton Miller of Ohio State. Now, that's the pictures you see right now. That was earlier than the year. You have to remove a couple of these cats and include somebody called Jameis Winston, freshman, first year, who blew away Clemson and Death Valley.
Right.
It's one game, but watching him play, he wants to throw the ball first. And he's strong. And he's accurate. So I didn't put the picture up there because I realized things are going to change. The question becomes, if we've moved from Johnny to Mariota to Jameis, if you had to pick where it's your best bet or safe bet, who do you go with? And here's the things that's going against them all. Of course, Jameis Winston has to have another game that, like he did with Clemson, in a top-rated team. Well, they're not going to really play anybody that top-rated, so he has to perform consistently. Mark Mariota's in Oregon. They're going to always do what they do. And Johnny Manziel, he is the team. He's the offense. Their defense is not really that good. So you can go with the wild one, which everybody now knows the wild one's the favorite. Or is there a sleeper? So my question to you, is it better to say, let me wait for the bet on a sleeper that's coming out of nowhere? Because Jameis Winston did it. Nobody was talking about him until this past week when they blew out Clemson. Or safe bet to go with Johnny, Mark Mariota, or even an Alabama hopeful in A.J. McCarron, because those teams win, Mario. You got to win, be a Heisman favorite, right?
Yeah, and that's why I think Johnny Manziel is still the favorite, but it is amazing, Vic, to see the talents which goes to show you that the youth is always quickly adjusting, right? Sports are no different.
Right.
All of a sudden, to have all of these kinds of quarterbacks coming from all over, all of them run and throw.
Right.
All of them.
Right.
So that's what was getting me when I saw, Jameis Winston. I was like, dang, where did he come from?
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah, and he's a freshman?
Yeah, that's his first year.
That's what I thought.
And what got me is this. I have to say this, and I hope I'm going to go back and look at the stats. I don't like looking at stats. I'm an eye test guy because, like I said, I'm a fan. I'm wondering, was Clemson overrated? See, the part that gets me is I'll go back and look at Clemson's games and say, let me see who you beat based on your ranking. And then
they got upset by somebody else. Who was it?
No, Clemson was undefeated. There was 2 undefeated teams.
They were the one who upset.
They got upset by Florida State coming into their home and beating them down 50-something to.
That's what I tell you. Florida, right?
Yeah, Florida State put the whooping on Clemson. Well, that's Jameis Winston, Florida State.
Right. That was the game I saw.
Right.
That's the game I forgot, but that was the game I saw. Right.
But that's just one game.
Because I was going woo 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 woo.
Right. They just handed them, handed them a pink
still, one
slip.
game is that's a big game. Like you come in and beat Alabama or even hold them to a certain thing.
Right.
That just says something, period. So
the question becomes, if you make your bet on the individuals at hand, Heisman's go to winning teams. It doesn't go to somebody who's performing well who's losing, basically. They've gotten away from that mostly. The teams that's going to be winning here, obviously, Texas A&M, a couple of losses, that's all. Alabama undefeated, Oregon undefeated, and South Carolina a couple of losses. And Braxton Miller over here at Ohio State, I believe they're undefeated. I have to check that. But the part becomes you can't pick anybody out of the blue. And Florida State now with Jameis Winston is in there. They're undefeated. So the question is you go with the safe bet, the winning teams. Now with them, can there be a sleeper? There's no other undefeated teams that I know of.
Well, there can always be a sleeper.
Right.
That's what I like. That's what I like about college sports in general, right? Football and basketball. I like the sleepers,
right?
And I like it. That's what I like about the March Madness.
Yeah,
I like the sleepers. So yeah, that's why I said I'm actually excited by the quality of ball,
right,
and the exciting level of ball you're seeing. That's really refreshing.
Who's the most exciting player you've seen so far up to now?
Johnny Manziel.
Does excitement?
I can't wait for him to be in the pros. Just take care of yourself.
Right.
And then, but like I said, these other ones that are coming, it's even when you look at some of even in the pros now and look at some of the other ones that become disciplined, like Terrell Pryor. Okay? I'm really pleased at him because I didn't think it was going to work. I really didn't think. I was I never did. It's like Marcus Allen was the same way with me. I didn't, but they make you a believer.
Right.
But that's why I give it to him. But some of these guys, you wonder, but I really had said Terrell Pryor, no. So these are the ones who were the ones who were heralding this group, right? I guess they were the ones, this whole trend. So I'm just Vic. It just means that you're going to get more. That means they're doing it in high school and everything else. And so now they're going to come into college with a running, throwing mentality.
Right.
And it's just, Vic, it's just like when we watch them go to basketball. What was once almost called black folks street ball became the norm in college basketball and then the pros, right? And they'll never go back and call it like that. But everything they do now was once called illegitimate, right?
Right.
Because it was black street ball.
Yeah.
This impact is totally impressive to watch. It really is. And it actually, right now, is revitalizing, I think, some of the interest in sports.
Well, yeah, and what's happening is that it's evolving, and the game always evolves. Whatever we thought was the hotness, whether it was 15, 20 years ago, it keeps evolving. I like what this game is doing. It's going towards the athletics. The athletics they say the eye test. They say, hey, look, if this guy performs, accuracy is always part of the game. You're not, everybody would like to be a Tom Brady or Joe Montana. It has yet to be proven that a running or a very athletic quarterback has yet to turn around and be considered in the top 5 all time, maybe top 10. That shows you Warren Moon being rated for what he's done puts him in that top group, but he wasn't a runner. It's about accuracy. And now it's more than ever timing patterns. which leads me to my next subject here, because I got to go there. If I had to pick a dark horse, I don't have anybody in my field of view as far as the Heisman, but if I had to stick with it, I say if Johnny Manziel does not trip over, lose any more games, stays pat, has some wild ESPN moments, he will be the one that wins because of the excitement value. But in the SEC, I would ordinarily take Oregon's Mariota. The problem with that, they just don't give him the exposure against the games where everybody can tune in. They go to Johnny Manziel. So, like, it's the West Coast bias.
It's the non-sports impacts of region broadcasting and all that stuff, right?
They're not going to stay up. People are not staying up to go watch that game. And so inherently what that means, you have coaches that are voting who actually sit there and say, the game came on late, so I just voted them in the same place they were last week. I'm not saying that they're doing that. but
they are.
I'm just saying. So all I'm saying is this, based on media hype, I would say the two leading contenders, because of the watchability, Jameis Winston is really excellent.
That's the game I saw. Yeah. You had to remind me, but that was,
Yeah, he's watchable, and Johnny, he's at that Johnny level as well.
Ooh, Johnny's just something else.
All right, I have to go over to this because I want everybody to bow their heads and say, all together with me, what in the hell was happening yesterday, and what were we watching? And was it called NFL football, Monday Night Football? What was this the worst football game you've ever seen play?
No, Vic, you kind of over.
Did you see it?
Yes.
Okay. You don't think it was that bad?
It was boring.
Yeah. Let me say this: Josh Freeman tied a record for the most overthrown balls. Period. I mean, the stuff that was going on. Everybody was sitting here going like this. We've seen players come in the league brand new and go. They may not be able to hit the real timing patterns, but when you're throwing outs like extra long screens.
Vic,
it was terrible.
Vic. Okay, yeah, but to me, still, at least there's a debate as to how much. I didn't like the kinds of things they were throwing. To me, and we watched other people tread lightly in ways that seemed a little more thought out. In other words, to me, there are other patterns to run and things to run. There's a different game plan. I didn't even like the game plan. So to me, there's an issue I have with the coaching with that one. I'm sorry. Well, I do have to share. To me, they could have. There's other passes that you run.
Could they run some screens?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me tell you.
I know he did bad on some of that stuff.
He did terrible. He had passes where he threw it out, right out to the side, and way over. Numbers of those passes. They weren't talking about the timing patterns.
To me, I agree. I only said partially. There's a certain amount of that to me. I didn't like the game plan, Vic, and it looked poorly thought out, and that's why they were losing before he got there. To me.
Okay.
To me.
All right.
Then, the game plans are weak.
Okay.
I'm not sure what they're supposed to, but they look disorganized.
What would you expect to get out of two teams that have 12 games and one win between them before last night? It's already going to be
bad. But you know what, Vic? I thought Ponder looked better in the Ponder was. I'm not understanding things. That's why. This is why. If I understood it, then that'd be different. I'm just saying as a fan. That's why I was curious what you thought. Wasn't Ponder decent?
Yes.
So why can't you just? Okay.
No, decent meaning they are considered. Ponder and Cassell are considered backup quarterbacks based on competition.
I see Matt compete, so
he's all right.
I see Matt. I saw when he did the good stuff in Kansas City.
He's been in the league as long as Matt Leonard and still hasn't solidified a starting position. So you have to understand.
No, he started in Kansas City because that was the year they had that good year.
That moment.
That
and then they faltered way bad.
Right. I'm just saying, he at least and Ponder and. I don't understand what's wrong with running Ponder and working on the deficits that the team really has.
Now you get into the next question. See, my whole point was, let me tell you how bad Josh was. Because he will tell you he was bad. If you put Josh next to you and say, Mario, I want to have a conversation with you. And you say, Josh, tell me how well did you perform last night? What do you think he would say?
You know who it reminds me of so far? I hope it doesn't end up like, because it reminds me. No, Jason Campbell. Remember, I was rooting for him and stuff. Vic's like, nah, dude. I said, come on, when he gets the right coach. No. When he gets the right coach, Vic, well, I don't know. I said, come on, man, when he gets the right coach. He gets,
nope.
See?
It's not. See, the part that I'm saying, Mario, all I'm saying is this. Josh knows he didn't perform well.
Oh, yeah, we know none of them, nothing. And the whole damn, everything didn't perform well.
And let me say this. Because he didn't know the playbook, they shrinked the plays. So they couldn't expand the playbook, which meant the team was going to say, you know he doesn't know the playbook. He just got in here. So we're going to shrink the field and just go
right.
after
And
him.
I still hated their choices. They still play against the other worst defenses or whatever. So even with all that taken in, I still hated their choices. I didn't like their offensive game plan. I didn't like a bunch of stuff. I didn't like the choices of the kinds of passes that they were doing.
Right.
I didn't like anything.
The play calling was not good, right?
No, to me it was horrible.
Okay. Now, were there some plays, half of those throws that he could have made?
Oh, that's why I said no. I said to me the only debate is how much is his fault, how much is the coach's
shared.
Yeah, because also you pick the right stuff for people.
Now let me ask you this. Now you get into another question. Let me say this. If you're out there to win games, everybody knows that Ponder would have been the best bet because he knows the playbook.
That's what I said.
So you know that's the best choice to make to win the game.
I didn't understand. Right. That Ponder really has been that bad at practice or something that you guys lost all that faith in him.
Yeah, they just say you can't. And here's the other side. Let me say the other side. The reason why I think they took a risk with Josh this time, what better team to go against than one of the worst teams in the NFL?
I just don't understand what's wrong with Ponder based on what I saw in preseason and before.
Well, see, here's the other part. When you add a quarterback and another payroll to it, you know, the payroll has been added to you. Guess the first thing I think about? Somebody made the decision. Was it the coach? Was it Josh begging to get in the game, play the game? Or was it the owner saying, oh, wait a minute. No, let me just say this now. The owner has to cough up the check. Is he the one saying put his ass in there?
Like I said, we don't know. I'm wondering why.
Speculate.
Yeah, I just think obviously they don't have any faith in Ponder.
But even if they don't, by bringing him in, they've already sent the message over to Ponder and everyone else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And here's the other part, Mario. How much of a message do you need to know that you're not the quarterback if y'all haven't won anything but one game?
Like I said, it's all bad. The morale sounds terrible.
Right. So let me tell you what I think. Did you see the body language of Frazier, the coach?
No.
When a coach is laid back like that's one thing. But when he looked the way I thought he looked, it looked to me like the owner said, put him in the game. And he really had no choice because he didn't pull him. Now, Mario, when you see that many passes, when somebody goes 16 for 46, not 16 for 26, would you pull the quarterback and put somebody else in there?
Like I said, well, yeah, I would, but like you said, maybe that is it. Those are the politics within the team.
I'm going to say this. The money went across the table. It activated everybody. The machine said, I'm not paying $2 to $3 million more to have him sit over there, put his ass in the game. I'm saying owner down. All right, let's go to the next topic for me. This one is going to be interesting because we alluded to it yesterday on the show just briefly. Neutral field pick'em, Chiefs versus the Seahawks. Now, I go by the best defenses in the league. If you go over to the NFC, you know that's Seattle and San Francisco were the big dogs. Well, San Francisco is still trying to find their way back into that top echelon or the predictable that they were going to go to the Super Bowl this year. Well, Seattle has that now. They are known for two things. They're known for the defensive secondary and swarming. They swarm, which is wonderful, and having a big secondary. But Kansas City is known for the front four brute force pass rush, leading as sack masters in the NFL with a number 2 rated secondary. If you had to put them on a neutral field right now, not in Kansas City and not in Seattle, which team would win and by how much based on their defenses, Mario?
I don't know if it would be based on the defense. Well, it would be based. It's based on how the other offense performs against the defense. Yeah, because the thing is, I think that ultimately, if I can say this, if I had to compare the defenses, I think I give the edge to Kansas City. Even though it's harder to say, Vic, because I think Kansas City has the better pass rush, but I think that the Seattle probably has the better defensive backfield.
They do. They're known for the secondary.
Yeah,
That's
the secondary.
point.
So that's where I don't know, but I think this Kansas. So let me say those things. That's why I had to stop and say, "Wow, that's a hard comparison."
Right.
To me. Now, offensively,
Just Alex Smith versus
I give the edge to the Seahawks.
because of the quarterback,
Yes.
and they got a better running back. We got Lynch.
But you know what I'm saying? I would love to see the game. So I think ultimately
Neutral
the
field.
Seahawks, neutral. Where are they playing neutral?
See that this
One
is
of those
hypothetical.
sponsored game things.
Yeah, just saying neutral field. We're hypothesizing.
Oh, I'd say I give a slight edge to the Seahawks.
Give a side hit. I think I would go with. This is the part I like about this. Whenever you get 4 guys and you don't have to crowd the line, it allows you to bring more men back for your secondary. If 4 men can cause havoc the way they do, I'll give the edge to Kansas City on that end. The quarterback advantage, of course, to Seattle because they can run. Neutral field, Seattle plays better at home. They struggle a little bit more on the road. Kansas City is just doing it wherever they can. I'll go Kansas City. Just by like about 3 points.
Yeah, it's going to be tight.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm not saying this is going to be the team because we're still here near the halfway point, but right now, these are the best defenses I've seen so far. And don't forget, there are some notables in defenses that you need to consider. Patriots, Brady. New Orleans Saints and the Breeze team. You know how we roll. And I had a third team up there. I can't. My memory's going back. Oh, there it is. There it is. That's what I'm talking about. New Orleans Saints, New England, and San Francisco. So my whole point is, these are the teams that yet have recovered from injuries or other factors. I look for them to be in the mix again. But right now, Kansas City and Seattle are showing me the best defense in the league. Any other questions? We'll talk about it tomorrow, such as Miami, the University of Miami, and I'm going to get to the Dwight Howard report. I'll get to the Miami getting a pass, having scholarships removed from the program, being allowed to play in the bowl games, and Ohio State and USC are sitting here going mad as hell, saying there's not equal distribution of penalties right now.
Never have been equal.
Okay. The Dwight Howard report, as he looks at you and says, don't be reporting if it's not good. In the preseason, they defeated, of course, the lowly Mavericks, 195. Dwight, 15 points, 17 rebounds, 3 steals, 1 block. Still doing that wonderful free throwing at 3 of 8. That lets you know.
That's all right. Hey, do we have NBA? We have the NBA channel, right?
We may have it, may not be on.
All right. Well, I'll try to go look. I got to go look at the guy because I was going to make sure we have whatever we need, for this NBA.
I haven't checked that, honestly, man.
I thought I could pay. I can't remember what I paid for. I thought
maybe last year.
Last year,
yeah,
we got the NFL, but we get the NBA. Okay, that was cool, man.
Yeah, that's my sports, you guys. Hey, until tomorrow, I can't wait to do this Miami thing. I will follow up a little bit on Grambling, but it's all about the money in this damn land of milk and honey, man. Gotta go.
Land of milk and honey. That's right, Victor Allen's New Sports. Hot neo-urban. Look at sports. Brought to you by the bar, the black man, the ladies have nicknamed Sexual Chocolate. You can write him. He is the PD, Program Director, VP of E, that's Vice President of everything.
All those titles, they don't even know what it means.
Title of the chief. Yeah!